Patrick Cook here. Welcome to session number 24 of Mastering Mandelbulb 3D Formulas. In that last session, I had assigned 6 formulas in the alternate hybrid mode. None of them were transforms. And so what we had in that last session was a simple layering of 6 different Mandelbulb fractal objects, okay, with no transforms. Now let's throw some transforms into it. We're going to stay in alternate mode for a little while here. I'm just going to clean up. I'm going to clean up. All right, reset. No warning. Boom, all gone. If you hadn't saved it as an MP3 or an M3I, you're never going to see that combination again unless you reconstruct it in your head. All right, let's recalculate. There's my basic integer power. Okay, now I'm in alternate hybrid mode, okay, as indicated up here. I have one formula assigned. I just rendered it. Let's put a second formula in here, but let's do a transform. All right, so a transform is something with an underscore in front of it. I don't know. Let's see. What would make an interesting transform? I don't know. Let's try quadist. All right. Now we know that a transform is only going to transform the formula that is the subsequent after. So I have the transform, I have it in the wrong location. So I'm going to use the swap down here to swap my integer power with my transform so that the transform works properly. Let's do a swap. So my transform's over on the left, and the formula that it's going to impact is over on the right. So let's run that. So let's move it. Okay, re-render it. All right. So whatever this quadist is a transform. I'm using defaulted properties. I'm not getting into all that complexity now. All right. But we have a transform situation happening in the alternate hybrid mode. Now this particular setup here, I'm not layering 2 formulas. I'm not layering underscore quadist with integer power. What I'm doing here is I'm applying a transform. So now the math is actually involved. The math has changed. I'm not just simply layering. All right, that was the important distinction I wanted to make. If I assign another formula in slot number 3, let's just pick, I don't want to pick a transform because that's not going to work properly. I don't know. Let's try IQ Pine Tree. Now, the question is, did this first transform affect every formula thereafter? I think that's a fair question. Did this transform affect the math of integer power and the math of IQ Pine? Or did I have a situation where I have, I'm in an alternate hybrid mode now, integer power with a transform, and then IQ Pine Tree was layered. So the transform only affects the formula that comes after it. It doesn't affect all the formulas all down the line. Then we kind of move into a layering method. Let's go put a Let's put something in formula number 4. How about cubic quat? Okay. All right. So what I have now is here's what I got. I got integer power with a transform. And then I have IQ pine tree laid down, and then I have cubic quat laid down on the screen. Let's just try something. Let's take this transform out entirely, and I'm going to hit the backspace and enter. That's how you delete a formula. Now this formula slot's not going to execute because there's no formula assigned to it. It's an iteration count of 0 anyway. Let's calculate this. Okay, now I have something radically different because I have now reverted to a layering process. I have integer power that has IQ pine tree layered on top of that has cubic quat layered on top of that. Okay, so here's what it comes down to. In the alternate mode, you have simple layering that goes on. All right. When you add a transform into the formula sequence somewhere, you're going to have the formula that follows it its math is going to be modified, but it still acts like a layering system. All right. Okay. So think of the alternate hybrid mode as a layering, with the exception of when you use a transform formula, one of those formulas or more are going to be, the math of it is going to be impacted, even though you're in a layering type of a scenario. All right. Now, okay, switching gears a little bit here. In the alternate hybrid mode, that's where we've been since we began this tutorial series. We have the controls down here. Iteration count, repeat from here, that's a swap. Min-max iterations, our bailout, the disabled analytical DE, the inside and the outside selection. We're always going to have these, what I call formula conditioners. You're always going to have these formula conditioners when you're in the alternate mode, hybrid mode. All right. Watch the bottom here. Just watch the bottom. I'm going to switch over to interpolate. You see, we lost a couple there. Well, we lost one. We lost the repeat from here. We lost that control. Okay. We're going to talk about this. Now the DEcombinate, watch below. DEcombinate. Now we have repeat from here is back. We have maxits hybrid part 1, maxits hybrid part 2 has been added to the stack. All right. So when you're in different hybrid modes, you're going to have more or less or different formula conditioner controls that will be available to you. All right, now that's going to be important over time. All right, so back to alternate. All right, let's finish up alternate right here. All right, with this basic summary. Think of the alternate hybrid mode as a fractal object layering process, with the exception that if you have a transform formula in there, it affects the math of the next formula over, but that affected formula object is still layered. All right, so alternate mode is a layering process where the iteration count down below here, all right, still determines the internal math of how many times that formula is going to be repeated. And you still have the R bailout, and you still have the min and the max iterations that applies to the whole set. All right, in the alternate mode, you can have up to 6 formulas assigned. If you have a formula slot that doesn't have any formula assigned to it, it's not going to execute. All right? And of course, in alternate mode, you have to have at least one formula for anything to happen. Okay, so this is where we're going to move away from the alternate hybrid mode. And when we get back into the next session, after we get ourselves a strong cup of coffee, we're going to talk about the interpolate hybrid mode. I'll see you there.